Live. Welcome to Speculation Sunday. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Speculation Sunday on a Sunday. Can't beat that. We got Just Ask Danny in the house. Danny, how are you doing, my friend? How are you doing, man?
I'm good. I'm good. Thanks. It's been a crazy few days, right? Just going over all this news and stuff. So
Yeah,
crazy.
the Disney news. It's just unexpected. Literally unexpected. Thank you, everybody. We got Ryan in the house, Michelle, Chels Bear. What's up, Alexander? Speculation Sunday. Speculation on a Sunday. How are you guys doing today? Doing good, man. Just staying home. Staying home. Staying out of the heat, too. What's up, Daniel Delgado? Nate has died. Oh, yeah. Basketball's going on right now, right? I think that's happening. What's up, Robbie? Handsome Hanson. Finally on a Sunday.
You know it.
What's up, Giselle, Christina? What's up, Frankie's Bride?
How's our audio for everyone?
It should be good because I'm not on the busted mic over here that I got next to me. What's up, Silly G? Jazzy Jazz. Our Knots Adventure. So I haven't had a chance to input all the names, but I will do this after the live stream. I promise. We're gonna choose a winner. One of the Five Fire members is gonna win this today, no matter what. But we'll do it after. We'll do it after. I think I'll try to fire up a live just for the members only after this. Uh, what's up, Arlene? Michelle from Arizona. What's up, conductor? Arlene. Palm tree. Audio's good. Okay, cool. Cool, we're good. We got a super chat. Right? Am I tripping? Super chat from Matthew Vaughn. What's up, Mondo and Danny? Thank you.
Hello.
Thank you. Heck yeah. Thank you, Matthew. Appreciate it. Happy Sunday, man. What's up, Amy? All right, all right. What's up, Juan O'Mac? Combo's gonna be juicy tenders. Yeah. So today, Disneyland. A whole lot of it. A whole lot to talk about. And then eventually, at the end of it all, we'll finish it off with Halloween Horror Nights because my goodness, there's a lot to talk about with that as well. What's up, Rope Drop? How you doing? Nicole Enzo. Uh, we got Arlene. Oh my Lanta, 47 months. Five, five. Thank you. Thank you, Arlene. Fired up. Like sweating in this room right now. Thank you, Arlene. Always so much appreciated. My goodness gracious. All right. Before we get started, Danny, I just want to get your opinion on something that went down yesterday. I'm pretty sure it's yesterday. Uh, it was the final day of Muppets 3D, Muppet Vision 3D. The last day, dude. How do you feel about this closure and just your overall thoughts on this? Because this was humongous news out there in Florida.
Yeah, I feel like this is probably the best that Disney's ever handled a closure of an attraction like this that has a really cult following. They really took time yesterday to make things special. They wanted people to be able to be in the last showing with wristbands. Like it just seemed really organized from at least from watching it on social media, and it seemed like a really fun experience for those that went. Um, in they had the daughter of Jim Henson there, who was like talking to people that were there. They were organizing everything really well. They had the like all the locations fully staffed, like Pizza Rizzo, when like the first people were walking in, there was like a ton of registers open. So
Hmm.
it looked like they were ready for it, and they were trying to take care of the fans that do like this. Disney said, or Jim Henson said, the studios, that this would be it would live on in some way. We don't know how. We know, of course, the Muppets will live on at Rock and Roller Coaster at Hollywood Studios, just no longer at Muppet Vision.
Yep, yep. Yeah, it did seem like everything went smoothly for something that they knew was going to be like bombarded because everybody wants to see it one last time. Everybody wants to experience like the food, the pre-shows, the merch, if there was any left. I didn't really hear anything like negative. It was just positive, dude. Positive stuff for something closing forever. Do you recall the last day of Muppet Vision 3D here in California? Do you remember that day?
No, because we didn't know it was happening, right?
Oh, it was one of
Um,
those.
yeah,
Danny, I was talking about it yesterday, and I'm like, I don't recall like this kind of thing happening here.
yeah, because we didn't know it was happening. It just they just announced that like they would bring over um I can't even think, the PhilharMagic show
Yeah.
temporarily to the theater, and then all of a sudden it just became the main show there, and then they changed it with like Coco and all that stuff, and Muppets kind of just quietly went away. They took away the Muppets theming on like the big sign and everything that was like facing like the Monsters Inc. side. Um,
Was it at a time where they like put like trailers in there or something? Remember that? Or some kind of movie trailers or
Yeah,
something?
every once in a while, like for different things, they would play the big movie trailers in there and stuff like that. And like it wasn't necessarily a trailer. They played like 10 minutes. Like
Oh yeah,
they played like the first 10 minutes of Tron.
yeah. Mm.
They played 10 minutes of like some other like
I feel
superhero
like
movie.
Oprah Winfrey something. That's what I recall.
Yeah, they had a bunch of stuff, and they were testing a bunch of things, but all
Yeah,
of a
so they
sudden we got
low key close it on DCA.
yeah, all of a sudden they got uh, we got Feel Our Magic, and then it just was gone. And the way
Wow.
that and Disney said that it would stay and remain and live on, but they didn't say how. Um, but I don't think it's going to be at DCA, right? Because I don't think Feel Our Magic's going to go away. And if they ever change anything there, it'll probably be to just get rid of that theater, you know?
Yeah, yeah. Damn. Everybody says it'll probably live on in Disney Plus. That's where it would live. Oh man, so crazy. We got Big Rags, 20 months. Happy Sunday, everybody. Lots of change coming to Disneyland Resort. Hopefully, it doesn't take an eternity to finish. It doesn't feel like it's going to take an eternity. Something's changed at Disney. We're going to talk all about it. But thank you, Big Rags. 20 months, man. Appreciate you
Yeah,
so much.
the same thing, Mondo, happened to Disneyland quite a few times with rides like that. Like when Space Mountain closed pre 50th anniversary, um, that was a really bad time at Disneyland because a lot of rides just fell in disrepair and they weren't really maintained properly. It was a really poor leadership time in Disneyland, and they just closed Space Mountain for like maintenance and then never reopened it, and then ended up gutting the ride and no one even knew, and then they replaced it for the 50th. So then the same thing happened with Rocket Rods. They closed Rocket Rods for um seasonal maintenance, put up signs saying it would open spring 2001, and then they just took the signs down and Rocket Rods never came back.
Oh,
And then more
was there
recently, Mondo,
was
we
there a
saw it.
was there like love for Rocket Rods back then, or not
I
really?
love Rocket Rods is like literally one of my favorite rides of all time.
Damn,
So
so there
I might be one of the
was.
only ones, but I loved it. Uh, and then more recently, this happened with us at and only we would remember this because we were documenting so much like the parks when they reopened. But when the parks first reopened after the pandemic, Tarzan's treehouse was behind walls, right? And it had Tarzan signage all over the walls, and it said like coming soon, and it was like Tarzan swinging on a vine, and then all of a sudden, it was still under the parks were reopened for quite a while, and the fences were still in front of it, and then all of a sudden, the Tarzan signs were taken off the wall, and they'd been up for so long that like where all the Tarzan signs were, the wood was faded, so there was like a ghost of the sign. And then, it sat for so long with no fence on it or with no signs on it, and then bam, Disney dropped that announcement that it was turning into the Adventureland treehouse. So,
Hmm.
uh, it's happened to us
And
before too.
then
No one
and then
really,
they announced it's for a TV show on Disney Plus that never came.
yeah, because like we never really got to have a last day for Tarzan's treehouse either because we didn't know it was going away, right? It just was gone.
Damn.
She gone.
Wow. That's it's wild. It's very wild. Is there any other one that you can remember that kind of happened like that? Just kind of went under refurb and then just disappeared.
Uh,
I feel like
Not that
there's
I know.
more.
Like we knew when Bugs Land was closing, so people like enjoyed that one. That one was kind of not like that necessarily. I'm trying to think of other like closed attractions I could think of recently that were like that. I can't off the top. I mean,
Hey, I'll give you another one real quick. Superman.
yeah, yeah.
It almost felt like Montezuma was going to fall in that category. Oh man! All right, all right. Let's get this party started. We're here to talk a whole lot of Disneyland, and I can't wait to pick your brain,
Look at
Daniel.
that.
Can't wait to pick your brain. Happy Sunday, everybody! Thank you guys for joining. Smash the like button. Also, too, we got USC Greg. Happy Speculation Sunday. Hyperion Theater shows. Yeah, we haven't got
Yeah, that's
that.
true. That's true.
Sky Buckets. Is that one too that went down like that?
No, because they like, well, maybe Theme Park IQ remembers better than I do, but I feel like we kind of knew like there was like a time that like we knew it was gonna like they told us, but I was so young then, like I don't even. I mean, maybe they know he remembers it better, but I I distinctly remember like people knowing it was gonna be closing.
What
So
What about the submarines before it became Nemo? Was that a big deal? I don't recall there being like oh my god, the last day, and I don't remember
no, well
all.
the thing was is that the submarines closed. Like I barely even remember doing it when I was like young.
What was it called?
But the for the majority of our childhood, Mondo, the submarines were just it was just a lagoon and it just sat there.
Yeah.
So it wasn't until, they announced the Nemo submarine voyage that like that we knew it was going to come back, but for the most part it just sat there for like a really long time.
It originally closed 1998 September,
Yeah.
and then reimagined 2007. The original ride was a classic attraction that ran for 39 years before its closure. Wow. So in general, that is just that lake or pond, whatever, it's old. Wow. I didn't realize it was that old. Oh my gosh. I've walked all up in there. I used to work Nemo. I never knew it was that old. Knott's did that with Camp Bus and Coaster. Didn't announce anything, just wall showed up and stuff got demolished. It's crazy. It's crazy. All right, let's get this party started. We're here to talk some Disneyland because they honestly dropped just a Disney park blog heard around the world. Future expansion plans for Disneyland. I'm not going to go over this article because we're going to talk about it. What was dropped was this concept art, which is from
Mhm.
Harborside. They dropped Coco concept art, told us the location, and then they dropped a weird different angle for Avatar. Avatar Experience. They can't call it a land for whatever damn reason. They can't call it a land. But they gave us that, and they also dropped this little snippet of news. To make way for this new experience, Monsters Inc. Mike and Sully to the Rescue will close 2026. We're gonna go in the order, Danny. I want to go in the order. Let's
Right. Right click the image
yeah.
and then open a new tab.
Open a new tab.
That way we get the full res.
All right, there we go. I like that. I like that. Um, all right. Let's start off. Where did your eyes go? What were your thoughts? Give us the breakdown, Danny, because this is wild. Nobody expected this. Was it Thursday? I think right. Thursday.
Yeah, it was
Friday?
Thursday night. Thursday night.
I'm like trying to remember. Yeah, Thursday, like 6:30 ish, and it was just bam. Here you go. Enjoy yourself. Break it down, Danny. Where did your mind go with all this that got dropped?
Yeah, I think the crazy part about this was just like the timing. We said, yeah, it's like the Thursday night. It wasn't like a Tuesday or a Monday when we usually see news from Disneyland, like so random on a Thursday evening that they had announced this. But I think initially my thoughts when I saw at least this concept artwork for the Eastern Gateway, we kind of knew a little bit, right? Like already, right? We knew that the structure was coming because they told us again that it was coming again at D23. And we knew the structure would have to be built in order for anything, for Disneyland to be able to expand anywhere, in any of the spaces that were approved for use with Disneyland Forward's approvals. And so we knew that was like the first step, right? And we knew construction was starting for that this year. We just didn't know when. And so this really gave us a great new look. What we can see in that concept art there that you just showed are a few key things, right? Like the structure has a pretty similar look to what we see at Mickey and Friends with like the vines growing out of like the planters growing out of the side of it. Maybe there's some like sunshades up on the top. We're also seeing a flyover, aka like an overpass going right into the structure. You can see that right above. Mickey and Friends has this too. Disney actually invented that for it was like a first time thing ever done. I think it was talked about on the news too because it's the first ever like freeway overpass flyover that changes the direction based on the time of day.
Hmm.
Because Disney can make it in the morning, go into the structure, and then at night they reverse it to go out of the structure. And that
Yeah.
had really never been done before in California, I think, when they first did that. So they're building another one of those similar to that for this one. Disney Way is the street that the Toy Story buses travel down when they're entering Disneyland. It's also the street that the garden walks off of. So that flyover will be on Disney Way, and it will go into the structure from Disney Way. So people who are exiting the freeway for the Disney Way exit can then head directly into the structure without having to wait, for signal lights or people crossing, etc. There will be probably multiple exits and entrances for the structure. They even outlined in that article that they announced that there would be an entrance off of Disney Way separately. And right now there already is, right? The cast members use that. I don't know if they're going to use that same street, but it probably makes sense for them to just keep it as is.
Yeah.
But I mean, this is going to be 6,000 spaces. So just for comparison, Mickey and Friends parking structure holds 10,000 and Pixar added 5. So we're technically at 15 there. It's not all guest parking though. They use the second floors of both structures for cast member parking. Um, and we don't know if there's going to be any floor utilization of this structure for cast member parking because keep in mind, this parking lot that we're building the structure on is a cast member parking lot right now. So
Yeah.
they're not going to have a space to park once
And
this
that
gets built.
parking is always packed. That cast member parking. Yeah.
Yeah,
So it's
it's
like
always
it's
packed.
heavily used. So to lose that, that's kind of crazy, dude, to think
Hmm.
about.
Yeah, so we already knew because this project was planned in 2016. We knew we knew what the plans were. We knew that it was going to like have a pedestrian bridge or and all of that, or 2006, I want to say. I don't even remember what year it was exactly. But
Rope Drop
they,
Nation was pointing out that there's trees on this bridge, Daddy.
yeah, there's trees on it. There's
There's
a bunch of stuff. But
massive.
like,
There's
so
an
we
In
knew
and
the
Out. There's a
pedestrian bridge.
Starbucks right there.
We knew that there was going to be a pedestrian bridge and a parking structure. We just didn't know where the pedestrian bridge was would go because Mondo and I had always known that Avatar would be built in the same space where the pedestrian bridge was coming into, at least part of it anyway. And so you can see right there, the pedestrian
People
bridge
have reached out
and
to me, Danny, and said this building you're looking at on the left, that is Avatar show building. That's
yeah, that
not
makes
nothing else.
sense.
Yeah, that's Avatar
Yeah.
right there. We're literally looking at it.
Yeah, so you guys can see right up against the wall there, just cuz zoom back in on that Mondo where we were. Uh, right
Damn,
up
we
against
could
that.
like see all the details on this one, dude.
Yeah. So, right up against that wall there, that's a backstage building, and the monorail currently hugs that wall right there at the back, Mondo, on the right side.
Yeah,
Um,
there we go.
the pink wall where the pink stuff is with the monorail track up
Hmm.
higher.
Right here.
Nope, nope, the other way. You were there. You passed it. It
Hold
was
on.
where we were. Where the monorail tracks hugging the building.
Right here.
That's not. No, no, no. Up at the top of the image, right there.
Yeah.
So that building right there is like, if you guys can think about it, that's backstage, and then to the left of that is,
You're talking about right here, right? This one.
yeah, yeah. To the left of that is like the kennel club, and then where you get like wheelchairs and strollers. So you can see in the image there, there's not really a lot of space right there. There's just a little bit of space where people can walk in um, and go through security from harbor. And then there's also the people coming down the bridge from the structure. So there's not truly all that much space. It's really only, if you can think about it, that right hand side space that's like where you're closest to the wall when you're on the Harbor Boulevard side.
Hmm.
So there's not too much space there. So if you can think about where you're standing there, right up against that, underneath the monorail track and those bushes there, think about everything else behind you being taken up by Avatar. So that's kind of what it is. And this is the best example of that in this. Now, the original concept for the parking structure way back when they were building it, the first time around, it didn't include an entrance from Harbor Boulevard, which
Mm.
is why they got in trouble with the city. And
Mm.
that's why the project was shut down, was because all of the businesses and hotel owners on Harbor Boulevard were protesting Disney's in the approvals with the city council, because they were saying you're going to have all of our guests and all of our customers walk over a bridge on Harbor Boulevard and no longer walk past our businesses.
So
So they
this right
were,
here was the big change.
yeah, so that's
Security.
truly a big change because truly, if Disney had their way, I don't think they want the resort opened on Harbor Boulevard, right? That's it's a vulnerable weakness for them when they're trying to keep things secure. The bridge is a way for them to limit who's coming in and out. And when you have it off the street, like sometimes you see like random homeless people hanging out there. You see like in more recent times we've had like pretty boisterous protests right there, and like that's a weak, like a weak spot for Disney. People can come in and out of there. Like you just don't know who's walking in and off of a street. Like they may not be a guest, they're just coming in off the street. So I think this one, if Disney had their way, they probably wouldn't want a or an entrance on Harbor Boulevard. But I
Especially when
love the
they could
way,
just control the traffic on the parking structure, you know?
yeah, I
Like
love the
not to
way that
have the
they
harbor.
implemented.
I could see why they didn't want the harbor because it's just like, hey, we'll handle security at the parking structure. It's done, you know? We don't want it. It's not even near our park at all. It's just over
Yeah,
there. Yeah.
I like the way that they incorporated it though. They brought back the original, or a montage, or a paid homage, excuse me,
The
to
marquee.
the original marquee with the flags. They have a small entrance on Harbor Boulevard for people that are coming in from Good Neighbor hotels, that are coming in from maybe being dropped off with public
Yeah.
transportation or
Let's ask
whatnot.
this one. Where will the buses drop off? Harbor or here?
They will drop off at the new parking structure when it's done.
So
While
you
the
gotta
parking
take the
structure,
bridge. That convenience right there is gone, right?
yeah, yeah, the quick drop off. I mean, I'm sure there's nothing stopping people from who are dropping off in their cars of just stopping on the side of the road and getting out of your car.
Yeah, but the bus,
But
buses.
the 15-minute zone, the ride share area in front of Harbor Boulevard that you use a lot, Mondo, you won't be able to use that anymore. That's gone. It's going to be completely gone. So the ride share area will be in the structure, as well as where all the buses go, all the hotel buses, the Toy Story lot bus until that parking lot no longer exists. They're all going to go to that space right there.
Man, there is so much change coming. It is wild. Chris Hatch says, "Do you think there will be two monorails because they show two different monorails? It looks like it in the concept art." Yeah, I've had a lot of conversation about monorails in the last couple days. Uh, what do you think, Danny? This whole monorail talk.
Well, those
It could go
monorail
so many
tracks,
ways. This monorail conversation goes so many ways. It's funny.
those monorail tracks are the way they've always been. So that this concept art doesn't show anything different.
Yeah.
It just we're just seeing a rare moment where like you see two monorails in one photo, right? But this is a concept art.
Yeah, they can make
But
whatever they want.
yeah, it's because
They
in
could
the
just
past,
turn Space Mountain in an enclosure for whatever reason.
yeah, it's in the past we've had a monorail, going into Disneyland and one coming out. So I don't know how often they run nowadays, but what struck me from this image the most, other than the cool new pedestrian entrance on Harbor, which I didn't know we were getting,
Yeah.
was the fact that the pedestrian bridge goes over the monorail track, which shows you just how high it is. And when you look at and stand in person where the pedestrian bridge is going to come from, because you can do that. There's a hotel called the Camelot, and then there's another hotel next to it called the Tropicana. And between those two hotels is a hotel that used to be called the Carousel Inn that Disney bought and destroyed in order to make the space open so that they could build the bridge. And right now it's just a parking. They just made it as an extension to the parking lot, but it'll eventually hold the bridge. But when you stand there, you realize just kind of how far away it is from the Harbor Boulevard entrance, and so you're like, wow, this thing's really gonna have to like go across diagonally the Harbor Boulevard street. It's like kind of crazy to think about it. And then the fact that it's going over the monorail track with enough space for the monorail to clear it above is crazy. So if you're afraid of heights, looking over the edge on that bridge when you're walking is probably not a good idea. You're just going to want to keep your eyes forward and just keep walking.
Let me show that part, Danny, because I feel like one thing that's been talked a lot is how this can be a long walk. Like it's a legitimate long walk. Uh,
Such a long walk. Yeah.
hold on. Right here. This is it. Uh, do I have like? Can I? Here we go. Nope, that is not it. Oh, can't do it. Trying to put like markers. Can I put a marker? No.
Can you
Uh,
just zoom out?
yeah. This is where it's going. That big, humongous parking lot right here. There's actually more to it. There we go. That's like a better view. Right there. All right. Keep going, Danny.
Yeah, so the Mondo could show you the hotel right there where it used to be, and then has to cross the street directly over it, kind of
Right
in a
here.
diagonal sense. And if you cross over the street when you zoom out, it's gonna hug that building right there where the monorail track's curving. So
Right here.
you can kind of see the trajectory of the bridge, how it crosses over and then kind of comes down like closer to that building where the monorail track is. So um, it's it's gonna be pretty though with all the trees on it and the construction. Someone mentioned, why is there a ramp going down? It's probably just like a fire safety thing, right? If they need people to get off that thing, they need to have more than one exit than just each end, right?
Yeah.
It's a really
Long.
long bridge.
Yeah.
So it's probably just like, it's kind of like how when you're doing the pedestrian bridge right now, to the Pixar Palace parking structure. There's that spiral staircase that goes down right there on Disney or on Magic or no, is it Magic Way? Yeah, Magic Way. That you can go down right there to the street.
Man. Um, for me, when I saw this concept art, what I thought was interesting was like this area, Danny, where it's like what is going on here? You know what I mean? Like there's like roofs and stuff. Because I know there ain't no ticket booths. That ain't no ticket booth. What do you think that is? It's not security.
To Yeah, to me, it did look like ticket booths. So it did look like some small, like, think of, you know what it was giving me? It was giving me the ticket booths that we see at the Transportation and Ticket Center, or the ticket
Florida.
booths that we see in Epcot, where you walk through them to get to the Epcot's main entrance. Like those small-ish ticket booths, because they don't need like big old ticket booths anymore. They just need like small windows, right, to be able to service the niche cases of people that are in there. Like the Epcot ones are like what it reminded me of the most.
Like
Because
that.
there's like little, yeah, like little small things people can pass through. That's kind of the vibes I was getting, and it was like maybe kind of obscured by the trees.
You know it
Uh,
is. It is giving me
yeah,
that vibe.
and then some of them could even be, windows that are servicing DAS, because right now, the ticket booths are two of the ticket booths or one of the ticket booths are being used to service DAS stuff. So that could be a whole other thing. Because another thing you can see in this photo is there's no more ticket booths anymore. At least from the parts that we can see, they're gone. So
Right here, somewhere in
yeah.
there. Um, look how different Disneyland looks. Like the Esplanade, there's like trees in there.
Mm-hmm.
There's like grass area. They don't want to reveal the Esplanade.
Not yet.
Let's talk about that real quick. You've been a big uh, you've been a big speaker on that the Esplanade will be changing. It will not look how it currently looks. If there's big changes coming to Disneyland Resort, which there are, you said the Esplanade is going to get spruced up. Everything's gone, and a big Portos is coming. So why not redo Esplanade, right?
Yeah.
What do you think about the little bit we see on that top left area, right above you?
Yeah, the reason why I had been saying for quite a while that we were going to be getting a new Esplanade is because you and I had always known that Avatar was coming to be where it was going to be. And we kind of got a lot of flack for that. A lot of people were saying there's no way Avatar is going to be there. It's going to be over in the Disneyland Forward spaces. And we just knew that it wasn't the case, right? And I knew really strongly because when Disneyland was originally planning to build the parking structure, they always had wanted to expand DCA into that bus area. That was already the plan before. Whether or not that was going to be Avatar the last time, I don't know. I mean, I remember Mice Chat originally reporting on that years ago, and they were saying something like, we could have seen like a Tron roller coaster come in here, but it would have been themed to like Avengers, and it would have been like a Captain America like roller coaster, with like where you're riding like on a Captain America motorcycle.
It sounds
I
kind of
remember
cool,
something like
dude.
that.
That literally sounds cool.
Yeah. So we already knew that this space had been earmarked in the past to be utilized. And so as soon as they announced Avatar, I was like, I know exactly where that's going. It's going to go in that space. And it made the most sense because the other spaces that DCA could expand into, aka the Simba parking lot, they're like more than 10 to 15 years away from using that space, if that even. I don't even know, because they have to have the ability to be able to park cars for downtown Disney in a whole new way. And
Yeah.
they just spent all that, like, millions of dollars to anchor the west end of downtown Disney with that brand new entrance, the security, and it's all directly going to Simba parking lot. I just didn't see them giving that up so quickly, and people were like so quick to just knee jerk and be like, "No, that's where it's going." And I'm like, there's literally no way it can go there. And and so when I knew Avatar was coming, it started to all of a sudden make sense, right? It made sense why
Hey, a lot of
the
people were like mad that I did this back then.
yeah, I know. It started to all make sense. It started to all make sense as to why like the west end of downtown Disney and the resort were all getting upgrades in their security. They were getting more permanent fixtures and all that kind of stuff. And the Harbor Boulevard side was still, working on Costco folding tables and green pop-up tents, right? And we were just like, when the heck's that coming? And you just realized that, well, they're not upgrading anything over there because big changes are coming. Also, we noticed too that the Esplanade is still themed to the old version of Downtown Disney with the garden theme, right? All the lamp posts in downtown in the Esplanade have leaves on them. They're all themed to the old style of Downtown Disney. Ticket booths, they were all sitting abandoned, only used occasionally, and then more recently they were used for DAS. So we knew it started to make sense with Avatar coming. They were holding off on building a new Esplanade until all of these changes were coming simultaneously. We also know too, and we've talked about this on this show before, if they're going to have a parking structure that holds 6,000 people, so about half of a big portion of the guests are going to be parking over there, and the other portion parking over there. Well, when you're going to Mickey and Friends or Pixar Pals, you have an opportunity to walk right past or walk right next to World of Disney. If you're going to this structure, you don't have that opportunity. It's in your rear view, and unless you're purposely wanting to go there, it's way out of your way. So another thing that isn't being shown in this image and is probably likely to come is an additional large Disney store that's on the other side of the Esplanade, aka where the ticket booths used to be. And I wouldn't be surprised if it had World of Disney as its name, but just with something else like World of Disney 2 or something like that.
You're talking about
So
on the Avatar side?
yeah, on the Avatar side, because
It's
they're
just
gonna
not,
need to
we
have.
just can't see it right now.
Yeah, we just can't see it because they cut this image in a very purposeful way, right? There's a lot of stuff that we can't see. This image is probably much more grand when it showcases the full Esplanade changes that will probably get announced at some point. You know what I mean? So we're gonna see a new gift shop there because there's literally no way they're gonna let people walk back to their car without an opportunity to pass a gift shop. So there's a lot of changes coming to that Esplanade, and
I
we've
just
been
want to
talking
call it
about
the
it for a
Star
while.
Tours. The Star Tours. You're gonna walk through a gift shop. You're gonna leave. You're gonna walk through a gift shop.
Hmm.
Even Buzz Lightyear.
The only thing that's kind of unknown to us right now is what all of this looks like. And I literally can't picture it, and I've tried to picture it, and maybe we can come up with a better idea for it in one of the future episodes. But I can't really picture how this space is going to look during construction. So, like, how does access
Closed.
look?
Everything closed.
Yeah,
Harbor
like
done. Harbor's just done for a long
I
time.
was like, how does
Which sucks. I
Harbor?
like parking at Toy Story every now and then. You know what I mean? It's gone.
Yeah, I
Or
was
does
like, how
Toy
does
Story
Harbor?
drop us off at Mickey and Friends? How is that? How is this gonna work?
No, Toy Story, there's a solution for that. That's easy. But the thing is I just don't know where the entrance to Harbor Boulevard will be temporarily, while this is closed,
You're
and
talking
they're
about
working
like
on all this.
also harbor entrance in general. Where are they like
Mm-hmm.
all the people staying at these hotels right here? Where do they go?
Yeah.
I don't know, dude. I have
So
no
if you go if you
idea.
go back to Google Images or like the Google search where the
Yeah.
maps is, and then kind of drag it over to where the buses come in for Toy Story. You were right there, just a little bit further down.
There we go.
So like where they first pull in off of Disney Way.
Right here.
No, further down.
Oh, right here.
Yeah. So there had been some construction recently that I had talked about to Mondo a while ago, with that specifically with that island, right? Because this was only recently made into a bus only entrance. This used to be an entrance for all guests, because
I've
where
used
Cars
it
Land,
before.
yeah, where Cars Land and where Avengers Campus is was the Timon parking lot, and I loved parking in the Timon parking lot. And that street that's right there, connects the Timon parking lot with the Simba parking lot in downtown Disney. That's why they all had Lion King names, right? And then Pumbaa was across the street, which is turning into the structure. So my theory is, Mondo, is that right there where you were just zoomed in on at the entrance, instead of the buses turning right, they'll turn left and they'll build some sort of temporary drop off right there for the Toy Story buses to unload. And maybe simultaneously guests walk in there too somehow, and enter the resort from there instead of the regular Harbor Boulevard side while all of that's being constructed. I
Hmm.
just don't know what that looks like. But it's very they were changing things recently, which made it look like the buses could turn left if they wanted to. They kind of like
Yeah,
reshaped the island a little bit. And so instead of just only being able to turn right, a bus could come in and turn left. And that would be a great way for them to be able to drop off for Toy Story for the time being anyway.
man. Uh, Lord Chiseth says that maybe cast members get sent to Angel Stadium.
Yeah, that happened to us when we were working there.
I feel like I went to Angel Stadium when I worked at
Hmm.
Disneyland. I feel like that was the thing for me. Um, I want to go to this one real quick. I am behind tremendously, but we'll get caught up. I have a feeling the Eastern structure will be completely different than the original concept, since they originally weren't going to have harbor entrance, and the new concept has harbor entrance. Uh, I don't think they're going to go away too far from this, right?
Yeah, they what we do know, at least from the city theme park IQ, is that we know three different things, right? That this will have a flyover from Disney Ways. That's confirmed, and I think that's in like permit. First time did not have purchase of that building. Now they do, and it just sits abandoned. So when they
Thanks,
build the
this
structure,
building right here, this one.
yeah, when they build the structure, everything up to the other side of that, like so that fence that's right there, there's like a lane going down the middle. That'll be phase one. And phase one, as you can see, also includes the space where the bridge would be. So phase one will have the bridge and the parking structure, but the parking structure on the upper half right there, that is phase one confirmed already. So
You're
I
saying
don't
this
know
right
how
here?
soon.
This one.
I don't know what side we're looking at here.
Yeah,
I don't.
yeah.
So, but it is two phases, and I don't know the difference between like which phase opens, like when how soon does the second phase open, but that's what we know based off of how things were filed with the city. Um that's truly like the thing of it. So we do know there's a flyover from Disney Way. I don't know how guests will access from Harbor. I would assume they'll go down Manchester, which right now is not a very big street. So we're potentially going to see a lot of really big changes to all of that over there because right now those are really like less traveled streets. They're really quiet. That Hojo is sitting off of that major street that runs behind that thing. So Hojo's space is going to be like really invaded right there. That little tiny Manchester street's so small.
Oh, right
Um,
here. This one.
yeah, that's the direct access off of Harbor, and that's the Hojo.
Damn, I feel
So
all these hotels, their prices are going to go up with all this happening. Let me ask you a question about the walk. I feel like we haven't touched on it too hard. Is this a long ass walk? You know, because we're looking at a concept art. Is this going to be a crazy walk? Like, how do you feel?
um, I feel like it could be right. Like
Because you're going right here to where all the way Daddy is on the other side.
yeah, it could be a really long walk for some people. And you have to go, and it's going to be a pretty steep incline because you have to go high enough so that the monorail can go underneath you.
Yeah, look at
The monorail track is already really high. So,
that. Dude, that walk going up after a Disneyland day? Does this put more of a premium to park at Mickey and Friends? Because you don't have to do this. This walk is, going to that bridge at Mickey and Friends is very easy. I feel like when you go from Disneyland, you walk through downtown Disney to the bridge and a Mickey and Friends. That is a long walk already. I feel
do
like
you think they're going to have like
it's the
those
same
moving
walk.
walkway things?
Oh, like Universal in Orlando?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Does
yeah.
Disney do any of that in Orlando? I don't think they do.
No, they don't. I mean, they
I'm
used to. They used to at the exit of Space Mountain, but then they
yeah.
took it all away.
Hmm. Man, that's crazy, dude. Very yeah. Before we move on from this image, Danny, do you think anything of this Tomorrowland, or are we just gonna write it off as it's just mumbo jumbo?
Um, I just write it off as the fact that the concept artist doesn't really. They only do what they're instructed to do, and in this case, it was probably just to highlight the Esplanade, which we're not seeing, and the new pedestrian bridge and a Harbor Boulevard entrance, and the rest is just appropriately filling in their concept art, and they probably just use like Google Maps and stuff to kind of do that, and that's why it looks really generic. Although it was interesting when you pointed that thing out about like how like there's no lagoon for the subs. It's just trees. So but I don't know that like I don't know that it's necessarily anything to look in on, look too deep on, I guess you should say.
Yeah, because my thing was, oh, I feel like I got frozen or something. Hold on.
Yeah, you got frozen.
Yeah, people are saying my audio is going all weird.
Your audio was cut in and then your video froze.
Just getting rocked over here. Can you guys hear me? Is the audio good now? We got good audio, bad audio. Can you hear me, Danny?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Um, what about that pathway next to Matterhorn?
That's what I was saying. It
Because
was interesting how you pointed that out.
my eyes,
Well,
Danny.
there's no lagoon, Mondo. There's no lagoon there.
There's no freaking lagoon. What?
But that's what I was saying. I think
And
it's just
this
like the artist. That's
weird
just the
ass
artist.
Tomorrowland that doesn't look anything like what we have. People were saying there was no launch bay, but I'm like, isn't that launch bay right here? Right?
Yeah, but it doesn't like have a. It does not. It doesn't have a dome on top. It's like different shaped.
Hmm.
But that's why I said I feel like it's just the artist just filling in the painting, and they don't really know like the intricacies of what the buildings are like. They're just using Google Maps or something to like kind of fill in the rest of their painting to match, to match what you would see in the distance or something.
He's like, let me AI this portion. Nobody cares about that side. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I could talk so much about all this weird ass stuff going on in Tomorrowland because it is weird. It is weird. Not even that. The entrance of Disneyland with like it looks like a jungle. Like look at all the trees. What the heck? Disneyland entrance don't look like that at all. Where's the railroad? You know what I mean? There's no railroad station. At least I don't see one. We won't go too deep on that today because we got a lot to talk about. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. This concept art was dropped on us, and we got a confirmation of location for Coco. Coco is going to be coming to Boardwalk Pizza and Pasta, and it's going to be Casa Museo de la Familia. But the funny part is they didn't really give us too much of a this is where the ride's going, you know what I mean? But I could tell you where the ride's going because we took a guess on that one a long time ago too. It's right here. The ride's gonna go in this area. This is a great visual of it. It's right there behind the Pixar Promenade, and uh, there's a lot of interesting stuff that comes out of this because that location is where there's a lot of warehouses, and these warehouses are for parades. That's where they put them. But let's get into all this, Danny. Let's talk about this concept art first. What are your thoughts
Mm-hmm.
on this?
Um, it looks great. I mean, the concept looks beautiful, and the land that the little mini like neighborhood, I guess you could say that they put in there looks awesome. It doesn't look anything like what's there.
Yeah.
It's a little, I would say it's a little jarring to see what looks very much like buildings in Mexico, like Pueblo buildings in Mexico, directly next to a 1920s Santa Barbara, Santa Cruz boardwalk roller coaster. Like it's just right there. So
It's DCA, Dan.
that
They do whatever they want over
yeah,
there. They ain't no.
it's
It's
super
not
weird.
Disneyland. It's not Disneyland.
That's the only thing that was like jarring for me is just like whoa, that's so weird for them to put that in there. But you know, the structure itself looks beautiful, and I'm sure they'll do an amazing job with it. Um, I'm curious to see what the entrance to the ride looks like, what the entrance to maybe the space looks like. Are we gonna go like Mexico Pavilion, Epcot, where like you walk in the building and it's like all climate controlled, or is it gonna be outside with like just the entrance to the attraction in the indoors? Like, what does that look like? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And even seeing, even knowing that the ride's gonna go here and knowing the parade buildings and everything are right behind it, I still don't know how this fits. Like I can't even conceptualize anything. Honestly, I don't. I This is the only one that stumps me the most. Like I can't figure out any of it.
What kind of takeover are we looking at for Boardwalk Pizza and Pasta? Is it just a quick serve, like a Rancho Cucamonga kind of thing? Or like what's going on here? Or is it going to be a sit down? They're going to have mariachi, or maybe there's like a stage set up for characters. Like, what's the feel like? Because that's not really being talked about. Why are they building this? What's behind these walls? You know, what's going on? And it's kind of odd that they're sticking to the puppet Miguelito. I thought they were gonna go with like a person. A person's gonna be Miguelito.
Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. Like what we don't see too is like what's happening to Paradise Garden Grill, what's happening to Boardwalk Pizza and Pasta,
Goofy Sky.
um, Goofy Sky School. Like, are they all still there? And in which case, like the themes of those don't really match this very well because again, they all match the theme of um, Paradise Pier, not Pixar Pier, because they were all built for Paradise Pier when DCA had its 2.0 renovation. They were built as a 1920s boardwalk, right? And so
Mm-hmm.
they have a old beachy feel to them. They don't look anything like Pueblo, Mexico, like buildings at all. So it's you know, do they take over those buildings and then we don't see a pizza restaurant, we don't see the Paradise Garden restaurant, like what's happening there? You know what I mean? That's kind of what's unknown at the moment.
Does Coco uh, kind of blend into Jumpin' Jellyfish and all that?
Uh, Not that I know of. I mean, I don't think, to be fair, I don't think anything blends into Jumpin' Jellyfish. Like,
Jumping jellyfish is jumping jellyfish.
yeah, Jumpin' Jellyfish is like is like one of the only things that's left over from DCA 1.0 that's like
It's like
unchanged.
an artifact now.
It is. It
What
is.
about Golden Zephyr? Golden Zephyr?
Yeah, that's DCA 1.0.
Dang. Hey, that's what's keeping it Disney California Adventure. Oh man. Do you think the portal to, or not the portal, but the entrance to Coco Ride will be behind these walls? Or it'll be over there by Bing Bongs?
I would assume it's here, right? Wouldn't that make the most sense? You like maybe this is the entrance to the neighborhood, the Coco neighborhood, because they do talk about how Pixar Pier is built in neighborhoods. Like that's how that was the original concept of Pixar Pier, because we had like the Incredibles neighborhood, which has like a little park with like a fountain, and then it has the Jack Jack, and then we had the boardwalk neighborhood, which had the Midway Mania attraction and games of the boardwalk with the Pixar pal around, and then we had the Inside Out neighborhood, which has Bing Bongs and Emotional Whirlwind. So like maybe this is just the next neighborhood in Pixar Pier.
Yeah. Victor says, didn't they try to make neighborhoods happen with Pixar Pier? That's why we ended up with Senor Buzz Churros. It was in Toy Story Zone of Pixar Pier. Maybe this is supposed to be a new one. That was a thing. I don't remember. I don't recall that.
Yeah, they were big on pointing that out, that it was like neighborhoods.
Okay.
Yeah.
TTV Brian becoming a member. Thank you for supporting the fire, my friend. Fire. Thank you for becoming a member, dude. I volunteer Goofy's flight school as tribute for more space. Do you think it's on the chopping block? Like, on your opinion?
I think eventually, yeah. I don't know that it's going to be tied to this project at all, but I think eventually we could see it go. Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of people that were speculating on Coco location, a lot of people were like, Little Mermaid, Little Mermaid, Little Mermaid. Is Little Mermaid just here forever? She's just going to live at DCA? Like, what do you think about that?
Oh yeah, that's sticking around.
Little Mermaid's too powerful. She ain't going nowhere.
Mm-mm.
Oh man, it's so crazy. I'm excited for Coco. When this is where my mind goes when I look at this picture. Uh, great music's coming, great food, incredible theming. Uh, does this guarantee Viva Navidad just lives forever, Danny? Right?
Maybe.
Or how does Viva Navidad come here? Let's get to the parade talk because this is very important. This is the area of Viva Navidad. But how does Viva Navidad even make it here? Because the left side is covering where these doors are that parades come through. And, like, what are your thoughts on all that, dude?
Yeah, that's the part where I said I really can't conceptualize it, because this literally is sitting in is sitting where the parade gates are. So, and that's why I had speculated maybe we see a world where DCA doesn't have parades. That same thing happened to Epcot. It happened to Animal Kingdom, and it happened to Hollywood Studios. All three of those parks used to have parades, and the parks have since evolved and changed, and they don't have parades anymore. And so, now only the Magic Kingdom has parades. And so I thought maybe we see a world where only Disneyland has parades and DCA doesn't have parades. Um, so, but some people are saying like the parade building can be moved. I just personally, if the parade gate was here and now it's not, because at least that's what it looks like in this photo, I just don't, thinking about the parade route, I just can't think of another space on the parade route where they could put another gate. Like that's the part that's like
Jared
I
said
just don't get
Goofy
it.
Sky School. Goofy Skies, throw them over there.
Yeah, I mean they could take out Goofy Sky School and put the parade gate there. That could work.
Is that a lot of
But
area? Let me look. It doesn't look like a lot of area. And you got the Grand right there, so there's not like maybe we could lose Corn Dog Castle too, kind of thing. Oh, I don't know. This is a crazy combo. Because look at this is the parade right now. Look at that big ass building. Thing is huge right here. This one.
yeah, that's where all the floats go.
Yeah. So like where would maybe that building could fit over there, but I think we would have to lose Corn Dog Castle. It's like that's on the and probably this like seaside souvenirs. Maybe that happens. I could see that. They just flop it over there.
Hmm.
It'd be sad
My
to
thought
lose.
was too. My thought was too, Mondo. If you could go over to where Carthay is,
Yeah.
and then like zoom out when you're at Carthay,
Carthay Circle right here.
and then like zoom out, so that's got Hollywood there too. So the parade gate is right there next to Guardians, and the parade comes out there in between Guardians and Avengers Campus right there.
Talking about right here. I mean,
Yeah,
right there.
yeah. So then my thought was the for our smaller parades like Mulan's Lunar New Year procession and Viva Navidad. My thought was they could still come out there, and then travel down Sunset Boulevard and then Hollywood Boulevard, and then go around Carthay Circle in a full circle, and then just come back and go back out the same gate.
Ah, I see what
So
you're saying.
they could still do Mulan's Lunar New Year procession. They could still do Viva Navidad in albeit a much better space, right, than what we have now. Because where you watch Viva Navidad now, it sucks, right? You have to there's like
There's
these
no
only
room.
these
There's literally
there's
no
like these
room.
little slivers to watch the parade, and if you're not lucky enough to get those little slivers, then you can cram on the right side of the whole show with everyone else and watch it from afar.
Yeah.
Like it's like a terrible space to watch it because it never really was meant to like do that, you know what I mean? And so having them come out in Hollywoodland and like doing their thing on Sunset Boulevard or Hollywood Boulevard, that's like way more room. Like way more
Dude,
room.
I I almost want to say Viva Navidad should truly move to Hollywood Boulevard. It really because the you get a great view no matter what, wherever you are. There's curves and space and damn. I
Yeah,
never
it's
thought
just right
I
now like it's just right
or
now like the
are people like biased of like no we need Viva Navidad in that cram corner by Bayside Brews.
well, it's just because that they make that area like the Viva Navidad area, but you know, with the construction going on, maybe it's not. So,
Yeah,
but we're gonna see.
They're gonna have to move it over here. Where else could you do it?
Well, or I said, or like Jared mentioned, there's, or I think even like Theme Park Obsession or something had posted like his concept on Twitter of like a gate still existing like behind that Coco entrance that like the parade could still come through in some way, and it was still live there, and this is just like sitting in front of it. And I was like, well, that's an interesting concept, you know? So like I didn't think of it that way. I just personally, from what I'm seeing in this photo, I can't really conceptualize like anything other than like we know it's hugging the turn right there of the roller coaster. So what's there right now? A parade gate and a stand that sells slushies, right? Those
Yeah.
slushies. So like those would be not there anymore. So that's all that's there right now. So other than whether this goes to the right or to the left behind it is not confirmed yet. We don't really know, right? So
Mm. Uh, wasn't the parade building between Radiator Spring Racers and Incredicoaster? That's what
that is one of that's one on the other side. So
there's
they always
multiple
they
too.
have to have one on each end, right? So like that one holds stuff and then this one holds stuff.
I
So there's
mean,
one it's basically like right there
it might
uh
not even is. Where is it? Is this one?
it's no. It's oh no, well yeah, that is that it right there or is it the
Hold on, I
one
zoomed in too much. My bad. My bad. There we go. Uh,
there's that one right there, Mondo. The to the left of Cars Land.
to the left of Cars Land.
It's
Oh
the
yeah, yeah,
long
yeah,
one.
yeah. Right here. This
Yeah.
one. My bad. My bad.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That one.
this one.
That's the one. Yeah.
And that one's huge. It's ginormous.
That's the one that they used to park Paint the Night in when it was at DCA.
Dude,
That was the
look,
one that would hold
they
all the
got
Paint the Night.
solar panels. I didn't know that. That looks like solar panels. Wow. That's news to me. This is where Paint the Night used to be.
When it was at DCA, yeah, that's where they would park it.
You think the Main Street Electrical Parade's in there? I wish.
It's just like random parades are chill. No, I think the like they obviously Better Together's in one of them, and
Yeah.
then they've also probably got the Viva Navidad float and like the Mulan Lunar New Year float, like sitting in one of those two parade warehouses. They're just sitting there for, you know.
We got Gomes. Super chat. Shout out to Danny. Five. Hell yeah. Thank you, Gomes. Thank you, man. Let me see. Brian says that's assuming Viva Navidad's coming back. You don't touch. You don't touch Viva Navidad. That is untouchable, dude. Like I feel like there's a lot of angry people, like very angry people. All right, let's keep going. Enough of that. This one is the one that uh, it threw me off when it first got debuted because I was like, where the hell's the ride? Because when I would zoom in at things, you couldn't see nothing. But there's a ride, just kind of looking weird. There's a ride there somewhere. Let me try to show it. Right there. That there's people on a ride. Just I'll buy I'll buy it smaller than what we've seen before. Danny, thoughts on this Avatar concept art, my friend?
Um, is there any way you can pull up the other ones too?
Oh, yeah, I got it on my Instagram, where it's like both.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it looks weird. It's weirder because the first concept art shows that round structure so much taller than what we're seeing in the second one. But then we also have to take into consideration too, um, if you could open up a new Google search, Mondo, and specifically just search for search specifically for Pandora World of Avatar concept.
Pandora World of Avatar concept. Oh my gosh. Crazy images here, Danny.
Yeah, so that
Oh,
left one, that top left one right there.
this one.
Yeah, that one.
Whoa.
Uh,
There we go.
like that looks literally nothing like anything that's at Disney World. Like even remotely. Like not
It
even
kind of
slightly.
does, though. There's the floating mountains. That kind of came alive.
Like we don't have that. We don't have the grown over laboratory on the right hand side there.
Yeah. Oh, over
We have
here, huh? Yeah, I see it.
yeah, we don't have the floating mountains like that. There's one big archway of floating mountains, but it's not like that. We don't have pathways that look like that where you're walking like it's
Hey, they
similar
got that.
ish.
They got that circle thing kind of going on. Oh, it doesn't let me zoom in. No, it doesn't let me zoom in. They got the circle thing, Danny, like right above me, right here.
Yeah, they have, and they that is there. It's like above.
Wow.
It's like in above flight of passage, like on the roof.
What? So our avatar is almost like connected to this?
Similar, yeah.
What? Hold on. I want to get one that can zoom in. Uh, damn. Damn, this is concept art from back in the day, Danny. I
Yeah.
never looked at the concept art of like Pandora. I wasn't into Walt Disney World like that back then. That's crazy. I just never thought about looking into that. Look at this one. Oh no, that's ours. That's ours. I'm trying to here. I'll bring up this one. There we go. This one. Open a new tab. There we go. Look at that. It's right there. This is I never seen this, dude. Look at that. That's crazy, dude. Um. All right, let's get back. What do you think here? What do you think here?
Yeah, I don't know how much we can really take with the concept art. I think they're just trying to give us like an example of what we can see. And that artist specifically who signed the bottom of the painting, I forgot his name, but you can kind of see it there. I think it's Dylan Cole. He's an artist for Avatar, so like he does the art of the movie. And so he did all the concept arts for Pandora World of Avatar, and so far the ones that have come out, he's done those as well too. And some of the concept art that Mondo pulled up when he was searching for Pandora World of Avatar, that's still like very much widely used in like tons of their souvenirs like that they sell in like Wind Traders and stuff. Like so much of the Avatar merch has the other one. The when you go back to the that one, that's like on so much and I've bought so much of the merch that has that on it specifically. But that's like the Navi River journey. And the Navi River Journey is an amazing ride, but it doesn't look like that. You know what I mean? It's a concept, so it's not like exactly similar, but it does have a lot of elements of this, right? It just doesn't look that vast.
Yeah.
So um, so that's I would just say, Dylan is used to probably creating the beautiful worlds of Pandora for, art from the movie. And so he's just kind of flourishing that in these photos, and like it's just giving us a general idea of what we can expect. But it looked like in the first concept art that we ever got for it that you posted there, there was another angle too, that we had where you could see like another side of it. It looked like what we could make out maybe two different rides, and this one you can't really see more than just the boat ride. So, maybe concept art has changed over the time, and maybe we only have one ride. I just hope that we have a restaurant. That's all I want. Is I just want to have a restaurant in the land. It's possible, right? We have the space next to Hollywood Lounge, that big hangar building next to Hollywood Lounge. That used to be a food court at DCA called Hollywood and Dine, and there's still a really really big kitchen in there. And maybe they utilize the infrastructure underground from that kitchen, like the water lines and the gas lines and all that stuff, to build a new restaurant in that same footprint when Avatar goes there. So that's my hope, is that like we get like a
What?
Satuli canteen.
Why doesn't Disney stick to this concept art, Danny?
Yeah, I like that
You
one.
know,
I like
they
that
they
one.
they like went away. Like they don't even want to mention this one no more. You know what I mean? It's like, oh yeah, that one existed. Because when I saw this concept art, I was like, where in the world is this going? Because we don't see the big ass show building that's coming with this ride. Uh, do you think this is still kind of in the works, or they're going away a little bit of this from a scale perspective? Because one thing a lot of people were really on is that the scale got pushed down a lot. Do you feel that way too with the new concept art?
The only other thing I could think of, Mondo, is that if it's not that it's the scale got pushed down, it's that we're seeing it from an angle that's hidden in that other photo. So like we're looking at it now from the left side versus the right side.
This one.
So we're like they're like standing down right next to the waterfall over there. And they're no longer so zoomed out, and they can't see what's on the left side of everything.
You're saying over here
No, to the right.
on this
So
side.
that's what we're seeing right there.
Yeah, this.
Mm-hmm.
Damn. Look, there's actually floating mountains right here.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even realize that. Damn, I never seen a clearer version of this like this. I'm almost like more enamored of like, what is all this? So now that we know this is going at Hollywood Land, um, does this fit in there, Danny? Does this fit over there? Because we where is it? This one, we see it right here. That is it. This building that's all the way on the left, or here we go, that way, all the way on the left. How's this gonna all fit, Danny? And
That's
where I'm going at is that, like, what are we gonna lose? Because that's where I want to take the conversation. What are we about to lose, Danny? What are we about to lose?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's safe. We obviously know that we're losing Monsters Inc., Mike and Sully to the rescue, and I think it's safe to assume we're probably going to also lose Hollywood Lounge. We're probably going to lose that stage that's next to Hollywood Lounge, and we're probably going to lose Stage 17 too. So like that whole row of buildings right there.
Yeah, like all of this.
Plus the one to the right of it, like the stage there where Mondo's basically his windows touching part of it.
Yeah. Damn, we're losing a lot.
And then into that, and then if you think about where it butts into the Esplanade, that first loop right there, that's the Toy Story loop. Essentially the Avatar the DCA expansion rather. I don't want to call it Avatar because it looks like there's some backstage stuff there too. It looks like it stops pretty much where the Toy Story bus loop stops. So like DCA only bumps out just far enough to like cover the space that the Toy Story buses do. But if you think about how big that is, that's still a lot of space because that's the space from the back of stage 17 to the other side of the loop where the Toy Story buses come in. That's like another length of that stage 17 building. And when
Hmm.
you're in that stage 17 building, it's really big in there.
Oh, Stage
So
17
like,
is huge. I always thought it was.
yeah, when you look at it on Google Maps, it looks small, but when
Nah,
you're
it's
seeing it
huge.
in person, it's a lot of space. It's a lot of
Yeah.
space.
So do you think, man, is this enough space for all this? And I can't help but wonder, and we're wrapping around to it. Uh, the monorail. Look at this monorail just going right through Avatar, literally. How is this gonna work, dude? I just don't get it. I don't get how this is gonna work. A monorail going straight through Avatar.
I think it just since they can't move the monorail or they don't at least they haven't really indicated they're going to. Um, it could probably just tunnel through it all, and then they could just put some sort of spiel in, kind of explaining why they're tunneling, like why you're going into a tunnel, like what's happening. Um, the reason, the other thing I was thinking about too, when I was just, this is totally like weird speculation, like blue sky stuff, was like the fact that they keep calling it Avatar Experience, Avatar Destination, and they're not calling it an Avatar Land, was because the way that they're going to fit it into the theme is that like you're going through, you're going from California or Hollywood into the Avatar destination and you're experiencing like the movie come to life or something. So like that's the only reason I could think of. Maybe that's why they're calling it destination, is that like you're going through, you're like walking into the movies. You know what I mean? That's if they're
Yeah.
going to keep the California theme. Carly Wiesel brought up a good point. Maybe the debut of Avatar at DCA is the catalyst to change the name of the park. So
Why is Avatar the catalyst? I'm curious.
just because it would signify a really expensive addition to the park and a really big change in an overall theme because like the majority of Hollywoodland would be gone. And so they, it with that in mind, it's kind of like how Disneyland Paris, their Hollywood Studios park, or their Disney Studios park rather,
Yeah.
uh, they are building that huge new addition with the Frozen and all the other stuff, and the new water show and everything. And with that new addition, that was the catalyst to then change the name of the park to, I think Disney Cinematic Adventure or something like that, or
Yeah.
Disney's what is I forget what they called it, Disney something Adventure. I just knew it was Adventure.
I could see them changing it for Avatar. But it's kind of crazy because like there's already been so many changes that have nothing to really do with California. Oh man, you would think Marvel would be good enough to change California Adventure. All the money they're spending in Marvel is insane.
Yeah, they maybe now, right? But there's a whole plaque when you first enter Avengers Campus that's literally right outside the web supplier store that explains how Avengers Campus fits into California and how it used to be like a Stark winery in Napa, and then they changed it to the Avengers Campus.
Yeah,
So, and they like show the whole backstory on that little plaque of like the old map of when it was like an airfield and
I almost feel
a
like they
and
gave
a
us a
Stark
poster.
winery.
They gave us a poster of that or something.
I feel like they did at one point
Yeah,
too.
it was a
But
winery,
that
Park
but
Winery.
it's like posted on that plaque too in the land. So you can like see that now. So they did
Mm,
thematically like locate Avengers Campus in California, technically story-wise. Um Cars Land fits into it because like part of Route 66 is in California. Um Pixar Pier is still in its bones like the 1920s Santa Cruz, Santa Barbara boardwalk or whatever, Santa Cruz boardwalk that they were basing uh basing that land off of when it was Paradise Pier, and then they just Pixar overlaid it, so it still like harkens back to that. Little Mermaid still is the Palace of the Fine Arts building, so
Mhm.
they found a way to like really incorporate all the things into it. San Francisco.
Yeah.
So technically,
When when
California still exists with everything except
when I saw
except
the
for Avatar.
when I saw the San Francisco, Danny, I was like, I think it might stay DCA forever, dude. Because you know what I mean, like the gates that they put on the bridge. I was like, damn it might stay Disney California Adventure forever. I'm okay with it. I'm not. I like DCA. I like the name
Oh,
DCA.
that's what it was. That's what it's called. It's called Disney Adventure World.
Daw. You want to go to Daw?
Disney Adventure World is the other park in Paris now. That's what it'll be called.
Do you think it matters that Avatar has to like find a way to be connected to California? To me, it doesn't matter. Just throw it in there. DCA is it just plot things and it works. It's not Disneyland where there's this like continual cohesiveness of everything. Uh, I'm cool with it. Are you cool with it, Danny? If they're just like, yeah, we're just doing Avatar. There's no connection.
I mean, I'm fine with it. I love Avatar. I'm a huge fan of Avatar. All the comments I've seen online, people saying like, "Who wanted this? No one asked for this.
Yeah.
I wanted it, and I asked for this." So I'm one of those people that would want it. Um, I feel like the writing on the wall was
I
always.
want to live stream your first steps in here, Danny. I feel like you're gonna cry because the fact that we have Avatar in California is insane. Like that was to me that was never on the radar ever. Uh,
Yeah,
was there ever
but like
rumors like you go back 7 years, 10 years, like Avatar could maybe come to Disneyland Resort somehow? Was there ever that, or that just never existed?
Um, I don't think I don't think it existed. But like another thing too, like Jared brought up a good point on my post. It's like tons of people the overwhelming response for a lot of people, especially like on TikTok and stuff,
Negative.
has been really negative about Avatar coming to California Adventure, and it's like they're like no one asked for this, and it's like, well, between Avatar 1 and Avatar 2, the movie's made over $5 billion. 5 billion. So like that's a lot of people watching it. And it's not like Avatar 2 fell off from Avatar 1. No, Avatar 2 like made more than Avatar 1. So like
And we're
it
about
does.
to get Avatar this year. It's coming this
Yeah,
year.
and it's like it's not really slowing down. So like I feel like it appeals to a wider audience. Like it appeals to everyone.
Well,
Like
it's
I said,
worldwide.
I
Worldwide.
feel like the writing was always on the wall for Monsters Inc. It was it didn't really fit the theme of Hollywoodland at all. Superstar Limo did. That was the whole purpose of the ride. But they just figured out a way to, that ride didn't work well. It didn't people didn't like Superstar Limo. So they just literally took the ride down and figured out the cheapest way possible to put some kind of Disney IP on this ride, and that's what they did. They like I mean even the animatronics from Superstar Limo are still in Monsters Inc. They just put costumes on them. Like if you took the costumes off of them, they would still be the Superstar Limo animatronics underneath. Like it's like they didn't bother to change everything. The Monsters Inc. facade is still the cityscape from Superstar Limo. They just painted it with monster doors. And it always seemed to me like it was going to be temporary, right? It was like the writing was on the wall for it eventually. I just think that, you know, just like Winnie the Pooh, Monsters Inc. has gotten like this crazy new like fandom behind it that it like never once had before, because it was popular back in the day, but I don't feel like there was the same fanfare for when Monsters Inc. first came out as it is right now. Like people are like crazy obsessed with Monsters Inc. And I feel like now that like they're just being really boisterous and people just want to hate on Avatar and they're like, I don't want this to come in because this is a better ride. And a lot of people too also grew up
You know how I
since
feel?
that ride's been there for like almost as long as DCA has been open because Superstar Limo was I think wasn't even there for like 2 years. So it's
I feel like
been
Monsters
tw-
Inc. became the new Lilo, like craze wise. That's just how I
mm-hmm.
feel. Like it's just, it's a very strong fandom. Monsters Inc. is very strong. Uh, Real quick, we got a couple super chats. Hold on, where'd it go? Where'd it go? I don't want to lose it. Johnny dropping a super chat. It's not about being California anymore, but it makes sense to being California adventure as California's adventure. It's our adventure. Our adventure. I guess. I don't know what to say to that. This is your adventure. This is your web sling. What is that right called again? Web slingers, a Spider-Man adventure. But now it's your adventure. It's your Tiana's Bayou adventure. What do
Yeah,
you?
I don't like I want to make it clear like I don't hate Monsters Inc. I love Monsters Inc.
I love monsters.
I think it's a great ride, but I I always knew to me it just always made sense that it wasn't gonna go away. Like that it wasn't permanent, you know what I mean? It was gonna go away at some point. Like I always knew that just because based on just the fact that it was really kind of just very cheaply put over an older ride. It wasn't like an actual ride built for Monsters Inc.
Yeah, man. Imagine what they could do when they could just build whatever they want for Monsters Inc. Oh yeah, that's coming to Florida.
Yeah.
We're gonna get a door coaster in Florida. It's so weird because a lot of people were like, a lot of those props are just gonna go to Florida, and I really feel like they are. As weird as that sounds, like it really. So a lot of this stuff possibly ending up in Florida, either in their land or decorations, whatever out there. Uh,
hmm
we got
Yeah,
Ralph.
I think the oh, go ahead. Go ahead, Monty.
Let me go to this super chat real quick, Danny. Ralph dropping 5. Will fireworks be confirmed to its current location throughout Disneyland Forward? I want to say you're thinking too forward, my friend. That's, I don't know how to answer that. What do you think, Daddy?
Well, fireworks. What does that even mean?
No, like where fireworks are launched from, will Disneyland Forward affect that? That's how I'm interpreting this question.
No, because um they launch behind
Toontown.
behind Toontown, and if anything would have been affected by that, it would have been Galaxy's Edge or Toontown, and they weren't. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, they're like back here, somewhere back here.
right there. It's right. It's literally right there. That little square thing.
This one?
No, higher up, higher, right there.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah, that's the
Boom.
fireworks.
Unaffected.
No,
uh,
I was gonna say, regular Josh won. Put it in the chat. We all know how this is gonna turn out. People hate on Disney for building Avatar, and then once it opens, people are gonna love it. It constantly happens. It does. It literally does. This
Give me an
same
example.
exact.
Give me an example. Give me an example.
It happened in Florida. People were like, "You can't touch Animal Kingdom. This is Joe Rohde's park. It has Avatar has nothing to do with Animal Kingdom. It's not Africa. It's not Asia. It's not any country in the world. It's another planet. It has literally nothing to do with it." And they built Pandora World of Avatar. It's literally something people fly to Walt Disney World to visit, and it's also the most popular thing by far in Animal Kingdom, with 3 hour waits for Flight of Passage, hour plus waits every day for Navi River Journey. Satuli Canteen is one of the most popular restaurants in the park.
And to add to
Like
it, Danny, when people rope drop, the whole crowd goes to Avatar. They don't go anywhere
everyone goes
else.
to Avatar.
They all run
Everyone
to
goes to Avatar.
Avatar. Every
Yeah.
time. Every time I've rope drop Animal Kingdom, big ass line already. 8 a.m.
Yeah. So we also have Common Sense One in the chat who's over here hating on an Avatar. I'm gonna revisit Common Sense One when Avatar opens, and I'm gonna make sure that he
You're gonna
never
be like,
rides that.
you have to hate this.
Yeah, you have to hate this. You can't like it if it's as amazing as it is
Nah, people could change their mind. People could change their
because
mind.
everyone was like that when Walt Disney World opened, and then they all changed their mind, and then they all love it now.
Yeah.
So
You
just let
you
it be
know,
known.
I
Let it
think
be known.
the one that still kind of burns is Avenger Campus. There's a lot of hate. There's a lot of hate for Avenger Campus. I think it's a lot of hate still there, but
You used to call it Dirt Campus.
yeah, dude, Bug's Life. You know, for what it was great. It was for the kids. There was shade. Like there was a lot of attractions in there. Shockingly, uh, and it had a show when it was all started. But yeah, Avenger Campus. We'll see how it flushes out. You know, we're gonna get the big ride and a Tony Stark Kuka ride. We'll see. Um, Avenger Campus is one of those like I just don't spend my time in there. When Avatar comes, I better get on that ride a lot because damn, I just want to chill. I just want to chill in Avatar. You know, one thing that's going to be very different from our Avatar, Danny, is our Avatar will go into the nighttime every day. It will go in there.
Every day. Every day.
Florida don't.
We're
Florida
not gonna
don't
have
got
no
that.
Animal Kingdom where it closes at 5.
Yeah, dude, they close at 5
Well,
sometimes.
sometimes they close at 6, I think.
Oh my Lanta. Yeah, they don't have a chance to see Avatar in the nighttime. I've seen Avatar in the night. I think it was with you, Danny. That's kind of crazy how that's like a special thing to see Avatar at night in Florida because you don't get it very often. Real quick, we got a super chat from TTV Brian. My fires, Brian. I don't see a comment, but I see one right here. Mondo. Thank you, Brian. Appreciate you, man. Let's talk about Monsters Inc., Danny. We don't know when it will close. The one big thing in this article, though, it says it right here. It will close early 2026. So there it is. Is this a January? Is this a February? Are they trying to push it to like April? What do you think?
Yeah, it could be any of those months, truly. Truly. My guess is they probably will. The only thing I could think of was that they would wait for like maybe Lunar New Year to be done, and then like as soon as that's done, like they could add more because there's going to be a lot of construction in DCA. They're going to have Avengers Campus
Campus
construction.
already.
Yeah, they're going to have this going on whenever this goes on, and then they're
Coco,
gonna.
Avatar, Avengers,
Hmm.
who knows what else? Some
So
other
there's gonna be
stuff they're having.
a lot of walls in DCA again.
Portos right there behind Soren. I don't know if that'll
Hmm.
affect things.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna say as soon as Christmas is done, they're like Monsters Inc. Pa fuera. It's over. Goodbye.
Mm.
Let's talk about this, Danny. Um, these projects, I was always under the assumption that Coco was supposed to be like a late 2026. Avatar was going to be like a 2027 start. It seems like everything got pushed up. Everything, especially this one too. Everything got pushed up. What are your thoughts on Disney kind of being like, hey, we're ready to go. We're not gonna because Disney likes to spread the cost over years. That's a Disney thing. They've done it so much. So Tron, the Treehouse recently, they spread cost over many years when they don't really have to, but that's how they do it. Uh, Epcot, that's a prime example. Disney in this case is like we're accelerating things. We want to finish in a quicker manner. What do you think?
The only thing I could think of is, Disney was talked about how they wanted to supercharge a lot of these projects. Maybe their budget was supercharged by however much money they received from the UAE deal, right? Like, you have to think about the United Arab Emirates deal that Disney's doing for the Disney in the UAE. Disney's not paying for any of that. In fact, they're getting paid for that, right? Like, they're being paid a large amount of money to license their characters and their intellectual property. There was probably an initial payment for that, and then there will be annuity payments from that company to Disney for the perpetuity of that park being open. Or maybe it's a revenue share where Disney shares some of the revenue based off of using their intellectual property. And on top of that, Disney's also, lending them their Imagineering team to work with their construction teams to build this park in the Middle East. And that alone right there is another thing. Disney doesn't have to pay, other than they're paying the salary of those employees, but they're not paying for the R&D or anything like that. The other company's paying for it, and Disney's basically sending them an invoice and being like, okay, you're going to pay us this amount of money to
Create these things.
to use Imagineering for this long to build your park. So technically, we maybe a lot of these budgets were supercharged because of how much money they made there. We don't know. So that could have been a pushing factor on like why we're hearing about some of this stuff happening so fast. It's because they received a lot of money from that deal.
Yeah, a lot of people were saying like we don't really know numbers until like the next earnings or whatever. So maybe when that happens, we get a little more detail. But hey, Disney, I have to give them props. This feels like supercharging. This definitely feels like supercharging. Johnny dropping a 10. Don't forget, some fireworks like pyro flames and some fireworks do get shot off the Fantasyland dark ride. Buildings like Peter Pan, Pinocchio, uh, what is SW? Snow White, Toad's buildings? That's true. That's true. I don't see none of that being affected by anything though of like construction. Uh, that is true though. I wish we had the flames still. I love the flames at the castle. That might never it might never happen again. Thank you, Johnny. We also got another super chat from Alexis. Avenger Campus looks like a sad Cal State.
I didn't say it. She did. I didn't say it.
I can't unsee it now. You like ruined it for me. It's a sad Cal State with a good breakfast. I do enjoy breakfast at Venture Campus.
Yeah,
Uh,
we got a chat from Common Sense again that says we need more water attractions because it's hot and DCA is about to be the park of water attractions, right? They've got Grizzly River Run. They're gonna have a Coco boat ride, and then Avatar's gonna have a boat ride. So that's three boat rides in California Adventure alone.
water, and we have Grizzly still. We have Grizzly. It ain't going
Yeah.
nowhere. Johnny dropped another super chat. My 2-year-old nephew is going to be very upset about Monsters going away. It's the only ride he asked for when he goes to Disneyland. Kids love it. So I have read the comments on my post I put on Instagram. A lot of people reached out, like when I put it on my story. So a lot of people were commenting to me. Yeah, no, Monsters Inc. is like a very important ride to a lot of families, a lot of kids. It's honestly some of their favorite. Monsters Inc. is a very popular brand. Uh, it's sad. I don't know what else to say. It would have been nice to be like we're losing Monsters Inc., but we're actually gonna get the door coaster in the future, which I keep hoping that happens. Is there any chance we get the door coaster, Danny, or that's just gonna be a Florida thing?
I don't know.
It
I
would have to
mean,
be Disneyland Forward, right?
yeah, it would have to be one of those new spaces because it's just so big,
So
so
big.
big. Yeah,
Uh,
but I think there's something to be said about Monsters Inc. too. Like, I get why people are really attached to it because when we think about like new dark rides at Disneyland, like we don't really have new rides that are being constructed that way anymore, right? With like a classic dark ride vehicle with a track in the middle, like now we're getting like Rise of the Resistance and
Infinity Defense.
Zootopia and Infinity Defense, where like it's like all these things are trackless and they're just like going through. And there's something to be said about like the classic feel of one of those old
Snow White.
style,
Snow White.
yeah, one of those old style rides. So like you're kind of losing a little bit of history in that aspect. um that classic feel, because we're probably never going to get, like, they're never going to build a new version of one of those. At least that's what it seems like anyway. They're always trying to build these like really big massive scale rides.
Everything's trackless. Everything's just trackless now. I I hope we get more dark rides. How is Encanto gonna play out? Is that on a track? I have no idea.
We don't know. We don't
Yeah,
know.
I don't know if people know yet or not. Encanto. It's still crazy we're getting Encanto, but yeah, I feel you, Johnny. Uh, there's a lot of people very upset. Monsters Inc. is going away. Uh, yeah, it's just their presence is gone. Kind of brutal. We I hope those characters still exist. We have Pixar Pier. They could come out there at any time. We got USC Greg dropping a super with a new parking structure. Do you think it's really just Avatar Land and Coco editions, or a possible future smaller third gate? There's already enough parking. There's already enough parking. What do you think, Danny? I got my
Well,
answer.
can you Google, Mondo, how many spaces are in Toy Story parking?
How many parking spaces are in Toy Story? Um, let's take a look. I'm curious to hear that answer too. 5,400 pretty much. 5,400.
Bam. The new parking structure, when both phases are complete, is 6,000.
Ah. So, I think I know what you're trying to say, Danny. Let me bring up this picture.
So basically, what we're trying to say is that the parking structure being fully completed, to answer USC Greg's question, does allow for them to open something else. But what we can also see in the concept art for that, whatever the heck that is, that just the sample of what they put there,
Yeah, this could be
that all
fake, but it's an idea of it.
yeah, that also has its own parking structure attached to it in the top left there. So that they would, because if they're building on the left side of the photo, the
Oh,
very, very
my
left
bad, my
side.
bad. Right here. It's like hidden back there.
Yeah. So if they're going to build something like another park, they would need more capacity, right, than what they have. So they would have to have more parking.
So this one is more likely than Disneyland Forward, huh? Like going over Disneyland Drive, over there by Pixar Hotel. I feel
Yeah,
like this is more likely. This one,
I
right?
feel like this is more likely before those.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like, and we're talking
Yeah.
like 10, 15, 20 kind of year thing.
Mhm.
Disneyland, get started on all this. We're not getting younger. We are not getting younger, man. Get this shit started. Get it started. Oh man. All right, I want to get some Horror Night talk. Danny, closing thoughts on the Disneyland stuff. Just closing thought on all of it. Like, give us your closing thoughts or any
Yeah, well,
last comments.
the parking structure, we're going to see construction start for that in the fall. So that's going to be really soon. And again, the first phase of that is the side closest to the Hojo. So the upper part of it. Then we're going to see construction. We already saw construction begin on Avengers Campus, so that's
Yep.
already in the works. And then Disney said in that announcement that Coco construction would start next year, early next year, or something like that. And then if Monsters Inc. is closing on in early 2026, um, they didn't necessarily say that Avatar was going to be starting construction then, because they said that like Avatar was still in the early development
Yeah.
phases. But if they're closing the ride in 2026, they could start deconstruction at least, right? And like prepping all the land for everything. So
I think their
um,
main thing right now is just the parking structure. That's the big one.
yeah. So I think it's just with all this, with all these projects going, I think what people can expect in the next few years is the Esplanade is going to look like a really different place, like a crazy different place,
Walls.
because they're gonna, who knows, like when the construction starts on on the structure, they're also going to be building the bridge, and they also have to be building all that other stuff. So like
Portos.
we're going to
Portos.
see simultaneous closures, plus Portos is being built. They're going to rip out two of the ticket booths, at least for now. So there's going to be a lot of walls all over the Esplanade. It's going to be a weird place to be, like, for a
Walls
really long
Disney.
time. So enjoy the Esplanade in its current state while you can, because it's going to be really construction-y for a really long time, and not that far off either. So
It's gonna be Disney constructiony adventure. DCA. Still DCA. We got theme parks and things with Johnny. We need a water ride to get us soaked like Grizzly and Tiana. Sorry, Junior. Just kidding. Junior, if you see this, but it should be like Moana. I hope Moana still comes. Like, why wouldn't Moana water ride be in existence? I would love that so much. Not just because the second movie did good. It's just in general. It's a giant. It's a giant IP. Moana's humongous, man. I think Toy Story lot ends up being a third gate, and the Simba lot and Lilo become more hotels and more shopping and dining. That whole topic, we could talk an hour about it, literally. We won't go into it today. My closing thoughts, I'm glad that Disney is in accelerating and turbocharging. The cool part, I feel like it's not talked about enough, and I just want to mention it briefly. Uh, all these things were put into play and budgeted and whatever from Disney, and it all came to life, obviously, with D23. And everything is supposed to be done in 5 years from that point, which hopefully that still happens. It really feels like there is a chance for all that to happen now. But Disney mentioned that the second 5 year, because this is a 10-year thing that Disney was all about. The second 5 year is where more money is going to be invested, more change and more investment into parks and Disney experiences and wherever the hell that money is going to go. A bigger investment is coming in those second 5 years. So, what the hell does that mean? I hope it's California. That's all I could hope for. Florida already got too much good stuff, man. They got Villains Land, Monsters Inc., this crazy ass Radiators or whatever.
that cool Cars Land that's coming. Oh my
Piston
gosh.
Peak, I think is what it's called.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Piston Peak.
yeah.
Piston Peak.
Give us Westcott, please. Westcott. We need Westcott. Danny, if we get Westcott, I might never go to Florida again, ever. For Disney World, I don't need to go over there. What the hell for?
They
What?
don't want to hear you say that.
Well, that's the truth. We are just going to be spoiled. I'm excited for Disneyland's future. To me, this is all awesome. I've experienced Avatar, so maybe that's why I have like more of a positive connection to it. Uh, I'm excited for that to come to DCA, and in reality, we're only losing Monsters Inc., which is Superstar Limo. In reality, done. And then Avatar, or not Avatar, Avenger Campus. Uh, we did lose Bug's Life, but the expansion of it all, we're not really losing anything. So I'm excited. This is really, really cool. Like what's happening with Disney. All right, I think that's it. That's it for Disney. We talked a little bit too much. Too much. Let's get the party started. I know a lot of people in here are like, we want to talk Halloween Horror Nights. Well, we're going to give it to you. We're going to give it to you. All right, so everything kicked off with this yesterday or 2 days ago. I can't even remember anymore. We got another announcement.
All your days are blurring together.
I know, everything feels like Thursday for some reason. We got another announcement.
Good evening, citizen. If you're just tuning in, you're in for a treat. Our friends at Vault-Tec are showcasing a revolutionary new experience, unlike anything you've seen before. Don't take it from us. Hear it straight from one of our special volunteers.
Live the horror you love to watch at Universal Halloween Horror Nights, featuring Fallout and more.
Live the horror you love to watch. I love that saying. We got a concept poster art too. What do you think, Danny? Fallout official. What do you think, man? How do you feel? I haven't really talked to you about this that much.
Yeah, we haven't. I'm excited, right? They're bringing the fire with this season. Five Nights at Freddy's, Fallout. We're hearing rumors of Terrifier, potentially even. You're saying Freddy is going to be here? Was it Freddy or was it
No, Jason?
Jason. Oh, okay.
Jeez.
Like just insane intellectual properties come into this event. And just between Fallout and Five Nights at Freddy's alone, they could do really, really well merchandise wise. But they and it's funny because Fallout, is a video game. Five Nights at Freddy's is a video game. Fallout's also a TV series, which I never knew that until literally this announcement. And then Five Nights at Freddy's is a movie as well.
Yeah.
So it's like we're seeing a lot of those things, like like similar offerings. I guess I'll have to brush up on the TV series on Amazon Prime because I only have access and know of the video game. Like I've played that, but never the show. And this is all about the show.
About the show, Amazon.
Mm-hmm.
New relationship. I don't recall Amazon anything at Horror Nights. I could be wrong, but the way this one's going to work out, I'm just going to read it. It's going to be based off on the show from Prime. The cinematic series is set in year 2296, 200 years after a nuclear war destroyed civilization. All that is left is an eradicated and highly violent hellscape known as the Wasteland, crawling with mutated animals, creatures, while gentle citizens take refuge underground in the luxury fallout shelters known as vaults. In this terrifying house, fans will encounter iconic scenes and characters that will put them into the frightening actions of the popular series. The journey begins beneath the surface in Vault 33, where guests follow vault dweller Lucy as she escapes a bloody massacre only to discover an evil hidden secret. From there, visitors venture to the surface where they must dodge attacks from scavengers, raiders, desperate survivors, who will do anything to remain alive, as well as mutated cockroaches known as RAD roaches. As guests travel through the hellish wasteland, they will go through iconic locations like Super Duper Mart, encounter the ghoul, an ageless bounty hunter who has endured radiation exposure for centuries. Additionally, they will come face to face with a young squire named Maximus and gaze in awe at the T-60 armor. With frightful terrors at every turn of the eerily authentic haunted house, fans will question if they can ever escape the horrors of the wasteland. Did that hype you up? That hyped me up.
Yeah, it seems it's super hyped up. I
that
know
sounds
Mondo's
cool.
excited. Mondo's excited to see the giant rad roaches.
Yeah. Dude, they eat people. The roaches eat people, Danny.
Dang, they're gonna have like a big old giant roach puppet. People are gonna freak out.
What do you think about the bigger thing going on here is that Universal's, I know it's not the video game, but these are video game properties. Like, what do you think about Universal Hollywood just honing in on video games, dude? Because this is cool. I think it's cool. We're seeing a lot of love, and they're just dipping. They keep dipping into the video game world, and I love it. Nintendo world, now this stuff. What do you
Yeah,
think?
there's a lot of potential with the video game. You know, a lot of studios are making video games into TV shows like The Witcher, Fallout, and a bunch of other properties like The Last of Us, like all these video game properties. They made the Nathan Drake movie, with Tom Holland as the main character. So they're really starting to dip into that. Who knows? Maybe we get a Grand Theft Auto TV series.
Yeah,
You
you
know?
never know. You never know, dude.
Yeah, you never know. So like I think it's awesome that Universal's kind of going outside their boundaries a little bit to bring in some really awesome franchises that can lure in audiences they wouldn't get otherwise. They did a really good job with that for FanFest nights using Jujutsu Kaisen and One Piece and things that they don't normally have at Universal Studios, but they brought it in for FanFest nights. So it's exciting. I think Fallout's going to bring people. Five Nights at Freddy's going to bring people. If Terrifier comes, that's going to definitely bring people. So like, there's going to be all these like really excited fandoms that are all there to see their own special thing.
Yeah. Let's keep the Horror Night conversation going because there was an interview that happened with IGN. Shout out to Albert. He posted this on X. I just want to go to the very end because it's the Five Nights at Freddy's section. Let me hit it, Danny.
Yeah, that to me was like, oh, I want to be in there with. For us in Hollywood, it's the Al Guy Bear.
Can you think of one, John?
Hey, man. Well, if you think about things that started in the as a video game, I can think of one property that our fans have been like requesting for years and years. What is it? It begins with
it starts with a number. Yeah, it starts with a number.
Yeah.
5.
Is it 5? Yeah, 5.
Five
and then
Nights
there's
at Freddy's?
5 Nights. Yeah, that's it. That's the one.
Is it going to be based on the movie? Or the animatronics that'll go in the maze? It would be the same one
based on the movie. Based on the movie franchise, and just one little tease for you, both of our teams are working directly with Henson's Creature Shop that did all of the characters for the film. So when you experience it, it is literally like living the movie.
Oh my God. Guys, this is I'm shaking. We're with 2 video games for the price of fun. Let's do it.
What do you think, Danny? What do you think, dude? This is
I'm so excited for that. Like I can't even begin to describe like how fun that's going to be. Just to like to see any of these things moving in real life is going to be so cool. So like,
and they're gigantic. They're tall. These things are not little, huge.
I can't wait for this maze. This is going to be like 3-hour wait easily. This is the new Stranger Things like big hit for sure.
Dude, Five Nights at Freddy's, it's gonna bring a crowd I feel like we've never seen, because like there's so many people that have grown with this franchise, and then to finally have a chance to experience it in real life in a fashion of Horror Nights. I think it's amazing thing. It's an amazing thing.
Do we finally get Sonic to come out and go through this maze since he
He's
grew up
gonna
with
want to, dude. He's gonna want. You know what I was thinking? I don't know if this is crazy talk, but I feel there's a lot of people that are gonna come to Horror Nights and they don't care about the other stuff. They just want to do Five Nights at Freddy's, get the merch, eat the food because they're gonna probably do some food stuff. I feel like all they care about is Five Nights at Freddy. Like they're gonna want to do it more than once. Do you get that vibe? Like I feel like there's gonna be like this group of kids and younger crowd. They're like, we only want to do this one.
Yeah,
I just feel that way. I don't know why I feel that way.
yeah, I feel that way too. Like they could do like easily just have this here, and I really hope too that like there's some sort of like teaser outside of the maze for it. You know what I mean? Like a security guard on the outside or something. Like just something fun to like bring it to life on the facade. That's my hope. But obviously we're gonna see Freddy Fazbear Pizza like as an option of food during Halloween Horror Nights. Like I don't even have to breathe to know that that's the case. So, like we're gonna have they've always do pizzas, personal pizzas at Halloween Horror Nights, and so they're gonna slap the Fazbear name on it, and everyone's gonna be so obsessed with it. It's gonna have like a 2-hour wait for pizza.
You know what I was thinking?
Because look at the line that people created just to go see a fake facade of the Freddy Fazbear Pizza in Hollywood that was nothing.
Dude, and
You
it
know
went
what I mean?
viral. I saw so many videos with millions of views. And it's just a like, look at it, it's in real life. There's a pizza that's here. You know what I was thinking? If I was Universal, like in the back lot behind Super Nintendo, I would literally build another Freddy Fazbear's pizza facade, just a facade, and have the pizza be sold back there. So you just create this new hangout, dining. People just drink and chill and eat. And it would be a photo op too, because everybody would want a photo with that thing. You know how like Orlando does facades for their like quick service things?
Mm-hmm.
Do a big one in behind Super Nintendo area out there, and so you could do the maze. And the reason I bring this up, right there in front of Panda Express, that can't handle these big ass crowds that are going to want to do this thing. It can't, right? I don't even know what like the worst capacity was. Maybe Stranger Things was one of the worst capacity because it was really hot at that time. But I feel like the Five Nights at Freddy crowd is just they're gonna bring the crowds like just it's not ready for a little Panda Express thing. That's what I'm trying to say.
Do we have an updated speculation map?
No, there hasn't been.
What was the last speculation map for where this is located?
Behind Transformer, where like the Weekend was.
Oh, okay. So in the building.
Mm-hmm. In the sound stage.
Okay, so the air conditioned one.
yeah. Thank gosh. I could bring it
Those
up.
Those animatronics are gonna need it.
This is from HN Nightmares on X. It's all the way at the top. So in the soundstage. And then Fallout, at least from the map here, it's rumored to be in The Walking Dead. So the first two houses that are announced, both in a soundstage, which is good. Air conditioning.
Mm-hmm. And then the suspicion is that the Blumhouse Terror Tram is just Megan.
Yeah, they're saying a lot of doubling down on Megan and Black Phone. I have seen the Megan trailer. I just kind of refuse to watch the Black Phone one. I just don't care. That's how I feel. I'm just like, whatever. I don't care about that movie. The Megan, I just can't escape that trailer. They play it all the time when I watch.
And then the Curious George
trailer.
Curious George is Terrifier. And then what's that light bulb?
Poltergeist. That's what is being rumored. Poltergeist.
Poltergeist.
Mm-hmm. Here's a good question. What's the theme of the bar that we always get above Jurassic Cafe? What do you think it'll be?
I think it's going to be Fallout themed.
Fallout.
Mhm.
But it's usually something from the lore lot, Danny.
I know, but like think about Dungeons and Dragons. That was like super far, and they made that bar the Dungeons and Dragons theme.
Yeah. If Jason does come, I would like a Friday the 13th bar. I think that would be the biggest selling whatever. Bunch of Friday the 13th drinks, some foods. It is.
Yeah.
You could even sell merch for that bar if it has a name. Put merch on it. Oh man, more Megan. It's like the third in a row. Yeah, they love Megan. They love Megan. I don't know. We'll see how this Megan movie does. I think it comes out like not that far from now.
Yeah, I think it's soon, right?
Yeah, dude, is it in June? Megan 2 movie debut. Let me see. Yeah, June 27th. So it's this month. That's why I'm seeing more marketing. I don't know if I'll watch it. Maybe just because it's coming to Horror Nights.
No, we're watching it, Mondo. We're watching it.
It's just I want to be aware of like what it is, so when Horror Night comes, I can be like, oh, it's that one scene from the movie.
That's why I said you're gonna have to watch the Fallout series now too.
Yeah, the Fallout series, I've seen 2 episodes and I stopped, but I'll rewatch it. That one's on my. I definitely want to rewatch it.
You can start that tonight.
Albert says there should be a new spec map soon. It's been about 3 weeks since the last one. I hope so. It really feels like they hit every house on the button. I don't think they missed.
Do we see the Death Eaters come back, Mondo, for Harry Potter?
God, I hope so, man. I love anytime the Death Eaters. I just wish the Death Eaters could roam instead of be stationary. I just don't feel like it just cuts off the magic of Death Eaters and being a scare zone. That Florida scare zone formula doesn't work over here. We need them to roam and do what they want, scare people. That's how I feel. Anything else with Universal, Danny, that you want to talk about on your end?
No, not really. I think truly right now we're just kind of in this weird position because all these construction projects are happening that we don't like really know about, right? Like the one that's happening where like the structure is at next to the structure, like where the Dodger store is and all that stuff. Like they haven't really said exactly what that is yet, right? Like we know there's speculation about it being security related, but they haven't really said like why is this being built here? Are they, is this like we're like on the cusp of like hotel news, maybe expansion news. What the heck's taking over Fast and the Furious Supercharged? Like there's all these questions still unanswered at Universal, and I feel like we're
this one
even
too,
like the iFly section
Yeah.
and like what the heck? Like what we need to know what's going on in some of these things. Before we leave Universal, I didn't actually get a chance, Mondo, to see any of your content surrounding escapology, or escapology. Is there like how did you share your content? Was there a vlog with it or?
I talked about it in a vlog, but I did do a post where I essentially I did it on Instagram, where I walk into every escape room and you just get a glimpse. It's only the first room, but I show a glimpse of it all. I did have a chance to do escapology a couple days ago. We did 7 Deadly Sins, which is one of the scarier ones, I guess. It has a scary storyline. We did Batman and Scooby-Doo. When I walked away from it all, I feel like the ones that shined the most for me was Batman and then 7 Deadly Sins. I would put Scooby-Doo last. But escapology to me was a blast it was one of those like a lot of like, oh, this and oh, that's how it works. Oh, it connects like that. It was just a lot of fun on that perspective. The way that they do like the mechanics of the escape room, I really enjoyed it. It was just a fun experience. And they have a lot of like audio moments and lighting effects that kind of go with everything.
Mm-hmm. Did they share pricing with you?
It goes in like it depends on what day you go kind of thing, but you're looking at about 40, I'll even say to like $60 if you're going on some crazy expensive day. But they have a thing where if you replay, you get it at 50% off. So like if you do another one that day right after, and they have like an opening, it'll be cheaper, way cheaper. Escapology, surprising, like it's getting busy, dude. This is like becoming a thing. Because like for me, it's hard to be like, oh, they're gonna be successful or whatever, because this is so different to come to City Walk. But it's working out. I'm seeing a lot of families. That's one big one, is that I saw a lot of families doing this. A lot of young kids actually doing it too when I was there. But nah, dude, there's big groups coming to do Escapology. I think it's going to be a hit. I did have a chance when I did like the media day before their grand opening. I talked to like literal people that are part of the corporate side of Escapology. They were like from Florida. I told them directly. I was right in front of them. I was like, you guys need to do a Frankenstein Universal Monster collaboration with the theme park escape room, and have it be like 3 months during Halloween season. It would just be insane. It would be sold out forever. I think Frankenstein would be the perfect way to go, like as their first one. But yeah, so I threw in my 2 cents. I recommend it. Highly recommend. Highly recommend. It is Escapology or Escapology. I just call it. I say what I want. Escapology. It just sounds nice, but it is Escapology. Escapology. It doesn't flow off the tongue like Escapology. Danny, there is one more thing I want to show before we get on out of here. I don't know if you had a chance to see our favorite account, Our Not Adventure. There's a lot of track, Danny, that has arrived. And someone, I think it was Our Not Adventure actually, she showed me more track has arrived. There's rumblings, Danny, that track could be installed soon. I don't know how soon, but it could be installed soon. With Montezuma. Montezuma! What do you think, Danny? What do you think, dude? This project that we've tried to be excited for like 5 years, it feels like. I don't know how long, but it feels like a long time. Montezuma died a long time ago. It's coming back to life. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm excited to see what they end up doing. Even if they just put it back to the way it was, I think people will be happy with that, right? You know, that might be the compromise. They just kind of go back to the exact same thing, just maybe update the launch mechanism. So they it's painted. They're definitely moving now. Okay, so they're painting stuff. But yeah,
it's sounding more like it might be the same thing. It's just it is what it is. That's what it sounded like, Danny.
Yeah, it sounds like they're just putting it back the way it was, and they just took it as a loss. Like they had this ride closed for no reason for like 3 years, 2 years, whatever it was. But like, it is what it is, kind of thing. They couldn't really anticipate what happened to them, right? It was kind of out of their control. So
yeah, they've gone through a lot with Montezuma. Now they're a different company, literally, because they merged with Six Flags. I'm just glad it's still alive and they didn't give up. I'm cool. I'm totally cool with just Montezuma coming back. I'm fine. Not even new technology, just the Montezuma we had before, just a refurbished, better working version. That's cool with me. I'm not here to hate on it. All right, last question. Do you know when Oogie Boogie Bash ticket sales are coming? Because we haven't heard.
It's usually July, right?
I feel like this week, Oogie Boogie announcement's coming. That's how I feel. I can smell it.
I would say it's usually like July or late June that we see tickets go on sale.
What about the announcement?
Well, we already know the dates of the party because they were published with that calendar.
No. I'm saying like they start.
Oh, like a
building up
monster
the hype,
announcement?
some kind of trailer they usually do. That's what I'm saying. I've a Disney Parks blog, like, hey, these foods are coming, whatever.
Okay, yeah, I say late June for that.
Late June. So I'm gonna say this week coming up. Danny's going with the late June. That's our best guess. All right, Danny. Closing thoughts. Before you say that, any content on your end or content that you just dropped that you want to let people know?
Yeah, I just dropped my podcast episode like a couple days ago about a breakdown of all of the stuff that we talked about today for Disneyland, which was great. So check that out. It's on my YouTube channel, Just Ask Danny. Just search Just Ask Danny, you'll find it. And then I also filmed a boots on the ground video where I walked literally the whole resort and all this new parking lot to showcase to you guys what this looks like in person. Looking at it from the Monsters Inc. perspective, from the new parking lot perspective, from the bus loop all the way over to the Coco area. I just walked it all. It was like 6 miles of walking. But so that'll be coming up. Hopefully I can get up tomorrow. If not tomorrow, it'll be up on Tuesday for sure. But no later than Tuesday for that video because we're running out of a time window for that when that's still relevant. So
yeah, you got to get it out there, Danny. Thank you, Danny. Thank you, everybody that's joined us today. I appreciate all your support. Hope you guys have a wonderful week coming up. And I can't wait. I can't wait for more Halloween Horror Night news.
Same.
We have Summer at Knott's kicking off this week. We have Mega Movie Summer event at Universal Studios Hollywood. So there's a lot. There's a lot that's going to be happening. There's also a Friday the 13th happening. So maybe all the parks get involved on Friday the 13th. Halloween this, Halloween that.
That's true. That's true. That's a good speculation.
Yeah. So yeah, because usually it was really weird. Last year, everybody got involved in halfway to Halloween, blah, blah, blah. Look at all this merch that we're going to drop right now because it's halfway to Halloween and food and whatever. You know what I mean? All right. I'm going to get started on this giveaway so we could get this done today for all the members. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Danny. I appreciate your time. Awesome conversations today. Thank you to the Fine Fire community. Smash the like button, but we are firing it down. The Cali Bay, Just Ask Danny, are calling it a day. I'm the main host, Mondo.